Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Carla from Rehan's World of Connections, and I am here to speak with Mohammad Abbasi. And I kind of got this whole interview a little confused, so I have to be very brief because I want him talking. This show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace one conversation at a time. Mohammed, could you please introduce yourself?
Of course. Thank you, Carla, for having me on your program. Carla, my name is Mohammad Abbasi. I'm the co-director of the UK's oldest Muslim organization, Association of British Muslims. I also assist with Football for Peace. We use football as a tool of diplomacy. We've got different groups, online and offline, including Jewish Muslim Friendship Group, which I think has over 10,000 people on there.
Can I ask you to speak a little slower for those who may not be as good in English as you and I so they can
Sure.
understand?
Sure.
Okay.
So I'm the co-director or like the assistant director for the Association of British Muslims, which is the United Kingdom's oldest Muslim organization. And online and offline, we engage with people of different faith groups and non-faith groups to talk about issues that are common with us, to build conversations. So one of the groups that we have is called the Jewish Muslim Friendship Group, which I think has about 10,000 people on there. And there's other things we do as well with the Association of British Muslims, but that is separate. There's also Football for Peace that I'm involved with, and we use football and other sports as a tool of engagement and connectivity. So we encourage people to connect through sports. Another thing I do is I teach people how to learn faster and also how to meditate and how to breathe. Because what I believe is that breathing is very, very important for all life, and breathing is the basis of living a life that is productive, healthy, and stress-free.
Okay, how did you get into the work that you're doing? Because it's such a wonderful work and it combines so many different faiths and ways of life. So tell me a little more about what you do.
Sure. So let's say the practical stuff that we do with the Association of British Muslims or the different friendship groups. We engage people in dialogues. We talk online and offline. And before COVID-19, before the coronavirus, we used to initiate small groups of discussions between people, and where people who are not necessarily friends, but people who have different viewpoints, we encourage them to talk honestly within small environments, to engage with each other in a way where they can understand each other's points of view, however harsh those points of view were. Where the issue is concerned with peace building, football for peace or cricket for peace, we well, hopefully we hope to use more of these techniques after the COVID-19 lockdown, where we can use sport to engage with different groups of people and get them to engage through sports. On the breathing exercises and the meditation, that actually started accidentally with a couple of friends who wanted to learn how to meditate. So I picked up the Wim Hof method of breathing exercises, and I learned with some of his experts. I don't know if you come across Wim Hof breathing exercises. Is brilliant. Yeah, it
Tell me
absolutely.
what.
Sure, it is absolutely brilliant. So, what the Wim Hof breathing exercises do is it's kind of like it's you hyperventilate yourself for about 1 or 2 minutes, and you kind of you build up energy within your body, oxygen within your body, And then from that, you transfer it to meditation or mindfulness, which are actually two different things. And you end up relaxing, you end up kind of de-stressing yourself out. Because right now, even though people are at home, they're away from, most of them are away from work. Uh, or a lot of people think that it's okay, they can manage by themselves at home. They're away from people, away from work. Actually, it's also causing stress with a lot of people because they're in a frame of mind where they are working, they're outside engaging with people. But what I believe, and other people believe, is meditation, mindfulness, breathing is needed now more than ever because we are not engaging with people physically. So we need to find a way of engaging with ourselves as human beings. Breathing, meditation, mindfulness, relax. We need to relax in an active way.
Now, when we're talking about relaxing, there's all types of anger in the world right
Yeah.
now. Especially in my country, it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
What can we do to? I have my ideas, but I want your ideas. What can we do to kind of cut the anger and let people understand that we are all connected? I mean, but just by the air we breathe, it doesn't change because you're Muslim or I'm Jewish or you're in UK or wherever. It's all the same.
Yes. On that issue, we have identities. We are human beings. We were born alone and we will die alone. Within that period of time, between our births and our deaths, how we live our lives, how we engage each other, how we engage ourselves is what really matters. The identities that we carry, the identities we are born with that we take on, race, religion, our job, different things are just identities. But people kind of express their identities in a way that kind of says that their identity could be racial identity, religious identity, different identities are better than the other person, and that causes stress within people themselves. So whether it's one side or another, what we have in the world, not just in the United States but around the world, is something called tribalism. And the reason tribes, people feel as though they're part of a tribe, they want to be something, part of a bigger group of people. So that group could be a religious group or a racial group or a national group. They feel comfortable within that group. It's like gangs. People join gangs for the same purpose. Young people join gangs for the same person. They want this kind of a family, a bigger family. The problem arises not with those identities, but when those identities kind of are used to lash out at people with a different identity. So, where in the United States is concerned, we have a kind of an understanding that, or a misunderstanding within certain circles of groups of people within the US that they values or their ideas are less than others, and that kind of puts stress on the country. So what I'm saying is, where racism is concerned, where religious bigotry is concerned, and different types of bigotry, the problem doesn't lie usually with the other person; it lies within ourselves. So if I, for example, it's issue of Black Lives Matter. When we look at black people, for example, they've been victimized not just in the United States but internationally for a very long period of time, and raising that awareness, not just within black people but within people of other racial groups, especially majority groups, it's healthy And people need to understand that whether it's people who are being victimized because they're black or any other color, or whether people are being victimized because they're Jewish, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, whatever, the problem doesn't lie with other people, but it lies within ourselves. We need to find the problems within ourselves and encourage people to find the problems within themselves first before they try to help others. Um, you see, um, people feel uncomfortable with people with people they don't know. I, for example, if I go into a room in a party, and there are people. I used to be like this in the room with a party, and people are from different backgrounds, people I don't know. I used to stand in the corner of the room. I used to be shy, etc. And I didn't feel that much comfortable. But the more I kind of understood there are other people who feel similar, who would feel uncomfortable with me or uncomfortable with other people. By picking up the courage, kind of reach out to other people, we kind of lessen the differences between us and the differences that kind of split us. So we need to find a way of coming together as people. And I think in the United States and in other countries, we need to give people the space to be able to express themselves and to live their lives productively and as fully as possible.
So, how can we help people begin to do that? That's a major concern happening in the world today. Um, it, I don't understand it. I keep on talking to people and I hear
Mhm.
what they have to say, and I say, I don't get it because we are really all connected.
Yeah.
We really are a part of each other. Why do we need to separate each other because of color or religion? It's not necessary.
Mhm. The thing is, you see, we were born separated from wherever we came from, whether we call it God or the universe or whatever. So we kind of were pulled out, we were separated at birth. And as a baby, as a child, when we got separated, the very first thing we did was cry. We cried in fear. We cried in like, where the hell am I? But then, our mothers, our fathers, they held us close together. We became part of that kind of, we felt comfortable within that kind of environment. Um, as we grew, that kind of separateness stayed within us, in our minds. And we began identifying ourselves as not just with our names, but with religions, with nationalities, with race, etc., etc. I'm not saying any of that is wrong. But the reason we have identities and different labels is so we can recognize each other, not be split from each other. So, say, for example, I want to learn from someone, I would need to know who that person is. What is their name? Who are they? That is their label. If I did not know, I would be, I would feel out of place. But we have differences that are actually empowering. There are people out there who we may think that are so different than us. They might be on the street. They might look to us like beggars. There might be people who are not able to use their limbs or their limbs or legs to walk around and engage with other people. But there's a soul. There's a being inside that, and there's a purpose for that person. I, other people, we are here for a purpose to learn from one another and to evolve our own selves, engage with life in all its beauty. It does not matter what another form of life looks like or is. It doesn't matter if it's human or non-human. It could be animal. But the beauty of life is this, that we have within ourselves soul, a light from God that we need to burn in a way that's helpful for other people, so other people can see within our light what is our light about, rather than using our light to burn other people in a negative way.
You, where were you born, if you don't mind my asking?
Sure. I was born in the United Kingdom, here in the UK. I am from, my parents were born in Pakistan and also India. There's history, our history is, gosh, our history is from that region actually, but there are also other groups of people hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, who came into that region and settled. So we're like descendants, I guess, of different tribes and groups.
Well,
So
we're
I wouldn't just identify myself as a British or Pakistani or Asian or this. I'm just who I am.
okay. The reason I'm going
Hmm.
this direction is that you are Pakistani in some ways.
Sure.
You are Muslim,
Sure.
and the Islam has had a, I hate to say it, a bad rap because of terror, and this is something we need to improve in the world, to realize that it's not because of any religion or faith. It's actually because of lack of knowledge or lack of understanding. How can we get more people to begin speaking with each other and understanding that it doesn't matter, you know, religion, politics, all of these things don't matter because we're all united anyway.
The first thing, the very, very first thing I would say is for us to kind of observe our own breathing. The reason we need to observe our own breathing is we can realize how stressed or fearful we are in our day-to-day lives. Not just because of other people, but it could be because of our jobs, about anything. When we cannot handle issues ourselves, if when we cannot, um, when we're not as focused on our own selves, we try to kind of refocus onto other people. Um, as a Muslim, Muslim means basically follower of Islam. Islam means submission, and it doesn't mean peace, although the root word comes from peace, submission. How how other people, that's quite a few of the people that I know, how they submit to God is what really matters. Anyone who submits to God is a Muslim. What I mean by that, I can say I'm a Muslim, another person can say they're a Muslim, but that does not mean they're a Muslim. A Muslim is one who submits to God in mind, in body, and in spirit. When we are aware of God, when we believe in God, and we say, say for example, we believe in God, those are just words. But when you become aware of God, when you know God, that is what Muslim is. And what I feel is our lack of awareness of who God is, who the supreme being is, that is kind of not pushing people into extremism, but kind of pulling them in a way that they shouldn't really be pulled into. Um, Christians, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, all these different groups. I'm not saying they're Muslims, but in the classical sense, what we're all searching is to know God, to be aware of God in one form or another. And if we can help each other by engaging with each other and trying to develop them through breathing, meditation, prayer, that's all that matters. Over time, the hatreds and the fear we have of each other will lessen because our concentration is not on each other. Our concentration is on the awareness of God.
So, how can we help people understand that? I agree wholeheartedly,
Mhm.
but I look at what's happening in my country It's not really a but. I look at what's happening in my country,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely crazy. I don't spend much time listening to the news because of that. Never have. How can we spread this more clearly? Help people understand what Islam is, help people understand what religion is in all ways of life.
I think the very first thing that we should do is to listen to people's concerns, however harsh we feel those concerns can be. Say, for example, a few years ago, I used to have he wasn't a friend then, he's a friend now. He used to hate me, speak about me, talk about me, try to undermine me, etc. He hated me because of my skin color. He used my religion to kind of express that I'm somehow an extremist in disguise or something. Um, but the thing, I didn't have this kind of an awareness where I wanted to engage him. I just said, whatever, I hope he dies or something. I should never say that. But one of my friends basically said to me, look, the problem is, it's not him or you, but this kind of like understanding between you two that you're each other's enemies. Why are you each other's enemies? I said, I'm not his enemy. He's my enemy. And he recommended to me something called the Art of War, Sun Tzu's Art of War. And where the Sun Tzu basically talks about in 13 different chapters how to fight your enemy. At the end of the book, at the end of this beautiful short book of the Art of War, I just realized that the enemy was not him. The enemy was me. The way I was communicating with him. And I went up to him and I said, look, I didn't say I just read the Art of War and I wanted to fight you and defeat you. I just, I'm sorry if I wronged you and I apologize. And he said something where he explained to me that a few years previous to him hating me, I said something and he kept that in his mind. And he kept that in his mind and it kept going into his mind and he started disliking me. And it was something very, very small. I laughed at a joke which other people didn't take him very kindly to, and he thought I was making fun of him, but I wasn't. But to him, it felt a very sarcastic thing. But just because of a little misunderstanding, just a little bit of communication, this kind of like split occurred between me and him. My energy and his energy was spent on hating each other. By the way, he's my very, very good friend. The only problem I have now, every 3-4 hours, I get a WhatsApp message. I can't block him because he's a lovely guy. But we've developed lovely conversations. We've connected with. I've connected with his friends. He's connected with some of my friends, and we kind of like developed this. In the same way, I know people who were white nationalists. I'm not going to call them neo-Nazis because they don't like being called that. People who anti-extremist, but anti-extremist when Muslims are concerned. So again, myself, white nationalist against myself. But they're not white nationalists now. They're not anti-Muslim now. Is because they met a Muslim. They met someone with this skin color. In America, people of different skin tones, different religions, even the different political parties, both the main political parties, they need to find a way of engaging with each other in a way that they can better their country and better the people around them. I'm not going to criticize the president and I'm not going to criticize the politicians because I think if I criticize the president or the politicians, I know that the blame is also mine. Each and every individual is to blame. We can't just blame one person. The reason you have in the United States, for example, you've got the president because he was elected by around half of the people of the United States, who may regret electing him or not. I don't know, but there was an issue there that wasn't kind of addressed by the previous government, and I think that was allowed to kind of develop into such a way that these kind of splits have occurred. And the best thing that we can do collectively, I think, is just encourage the different sides to find a way through this, because the United States is a great country, and there's people around the world who used to look up to the United States of America, and always it's in their mind like what's kind of happening to this great country. We can pray for people in the U.S., and we hope that they kind of come out of this mess.
Well, we all know that life goes in ups and downs, and we will come out of the mess. It's interesting. It's a time of major change. Do you think that COVID-19 has brought about a possibility for all this change to kind of come together in a more positive way? And I know we need to go, but I had to ask you this.
Sure. Well, I mean, members of my own family and my own friends have passed away of COVID-19 over the past few months. People very, very close to me. My father passed away a few months ago, not of COVID, but underlying conditions. And we couldn't go out and basically go to the funeral in a big way. There was only about 6 people allowed. I saw my father lying on the bed in the hospital. Like only 2 people were allowed to see him, and he felt as though he was asleep. COVID-19 and the restrictions that we have, not just as British people or Americans, but around the world, should push us to kind of better ourselves at our ways of engaging with each other. The reason I and you are talking, and I was talking to different groups today, different people today over the past few days, a week or so, is because online we seem to be more active now. Not just myself and yourself, but many other people. COVID-19 is kind of forcing us in a way to socialize more by keeping ourselves in distance. So it's kind of like a funny kind of a yin-yang balance going on here. So although we were kept separate, it's uniting us.
I think it was very interesting as I was coming into the house. Oh no, you didn't go. Good, you're back. As I was coming into the house, you wrote to me, we're more busy now during COVID-19 than we were out before. And it's true. I mean, I'm finding myself more busy, but I'm also finding myself interacting more now than I was. Do you see that happening too? And then I'll let you go. We got it.
Absolutely. It's okay. The thing is, they've said 5 minutes, so we've got 5 minutes now. Don't worry.
Oh,
so we've got 5 minutes more. He's just messaged me, and he said he's in the driveway. So, like yourself, you were driving, so he's in the driveway. I don't know what's happening in America. Everyone's in the cars. On the issue of engaging more, I mean, what I've actually realized is one of the passions I had was to teach people how to meditate, how to relax, how to visualize certain ways, how to breathe. I've been doing that over the past week with a few different people and groups. And what I've realized is that there's more demand for that now than it was previously. Maybe there wasn't demand for it before because people were so busy outside with their families or friends or at work. But now, because they're inside, they're looking for ways of kind of balancing themselves or finding ways of relaxing. So I'm happy to also teach yourself and some of your friends how to breathe and how to relax, how to meditate, or how to use kind of mindfulness to overcome some of the channel, I guess the stresses that they're experiencing. And in the U.S., I think there was a report, 8 out of 10 Americans, they said that are usually stressed out at the end of the day. And why? Why do we get stressed out? Why do Americans or British or other people get stressed out? Whereas there are people in Africa or certain parts of Asia, very, very poor. They don't have much, but they're usually happy and they're not that stressed out.
It's true. I remember when I went to India, I saw more smiles in India than
Mhm.
I've seen in the United States. I think there's more. Do you feel that there may be more of a feeling of spirituality, a feeling of we're all connected in the third world countries than here where they're thinking, oh, how am I going to get my next dollar? Or I need to do this to get my next dollar, and if I don't do it, I'm going to just kerplunk.
The thing is, people live their lives wanting to be enlightened, either with material wealth or with spiritual wealth. Um, when we were born, this is my own belief, when we were born as babies crying and we were split from that wherever we were, the awareness, the enlightenment was there because that was pain. Through pain, we become enlightened. Through fear, when we understand fear, we become enlightened. Our life is all about enlightenment. There is no period in time where if we become millionaires or billionaires, we suddenly become enlightened, or if we sit in an ashram or have nirvana, like Buddha, wherever he was, become enlightened. Enlightenment has always been within us, within our hearts. It's about opening our eyes, but from within, finding a way where we fear less and embrace others on an equal level. Um, Wherever we come from, as a Muslim, I believe we come from God, from the purest of the purest source, from Allah, from God, Brahma, whatever we should call it, it does not matter, from nature, from the universe. That purity within our souls was within that child when that child was born from its mother and was split. That courage, that essence has stayed within that child up until the day that child dies and goes into a soul form into the next life. We're here to learn. And one of the things that we need to learn is that we are enlightened. There's no need for us to be enlightened with material wealth or kind of like taking spiritual or different kind of trappings on. We don't need these kind of attachments to be enlightened. Just understand we're already enlightened. Stress comes from wanting stuff, wanting to be enlightened, wanting to be spiritual, wanting to have money or whatever is not the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to live, but live as enlightened beings. I mean, you're enlightened. People around you are enlightened. When you see a child smile innocently, that child is enlightened. Look at the purity of even animals, the way they just live their lives. They do so in an enlightened way. It is us and our stress on others and how others should be that is a problem.
I just had a crazy. I thought, oh, did
Yeah.
I close the screen door when I came in when you mentioned the animals?
You probably have a ghost or a spirit behind you where you're like, let's take that.
Yeah, because I just ran in and, my gosh.
No, I think you were probably driving around the White House or something. Were
No,
you near the White House?
I had to go pick up a medication from the doctor's office. They
Right.
were giving it to me instead of me having to pay for it for my
Right.
eyes. And it was just crazy. I got there and then I got this call saying,
Mhm.
Carla, you forgot an interview. And I'm like, no, yeah, what are you talking about? And I went and looked at my calendar and
Well,
there you
well,
were.
the thing is, he's apologizing to me for being late, and he goes, 3 more minutes, 3 more minutes. So as soon as he comes, I'm going to basically this time I'm going to delay him for about 2 3 minutes, and what we'll do, we'll end the interview. But I'm quite happy to use some of my breathing techniques or meditation, mindfulness techniques, maybe next week sometime, where what you could do is you could invite some of your friends or colleagues, or etc. And I don't like the word teaching, but maybe coaching, demonstrating what I do, and I think you will be kind of feel different afterwards.
I'd be willing to do that. I have my own practices, but I would like, to open it up for those who may not have a practice. It would be
Mhm,
great.
mhm. Because
So
the thing is, I mean, as I said, I mean, meditation, breathing, it can relax your body, it can calm you. People who've got heart disease, strokes, I mean, different types of illnesses. A lot of these come from stress. We stress ourselves out rather than other people. We just use other people as an excuse to kind of. It doesn't matter what someone is saying or doing. It should not kind of unbalance ourselves because of that. We need to find ways of dealing with stuff that's happening around us, but in a way that's constructive to us.
it's true. We shouldn't feel that we always need to look at someone else for our happiness. We
Yeah.
need to look within, which is what I was thinking about as I was driving home.
Mhm.
That, it all starts from within. And I don't care who you are, you all have that ability
Mhm.
to turn turn the negativity to positivity. It's how you think and how you are reacting to it. Would you agree with me?
I would agree with you. I mean, one of the things that I teach is we have this idea of positive. We need to be positive all the time. We mustn't be negative. But one of the things I teach in another one of my meditation practices is how to be actively negative and how to actively seek out the fears inside you and to visualize those fears. Because life is about balance. It's not about being positive all the time. I mean, if I'm driving a car or I'm walking across the road, I could say, I just can walk across that road. I'm very, very positive. I don't care about the cars coming wherever. I might end up, part of an accident. So the negative part is a part of the ego. And the ego, we need to understand, is there for a purpose. It's a purpose to help us develop, not for us to take and be egotistical, because being egotistical can hurt us. Being Having no ego can hurt us. So although I'm a great believer in Rumi, I love Rumi. One of the things he says is that we need to destroy our nafs, meaning our ego. I don't think we should. I think we should develop our ego in a way that it's appreciative of the Creator, in a way how we engage with each other and ourselves.
Well, ego is important because ego keeps us from doing some, stupid activities. Like, you want to stay alive, you're going to watch what what's going down the road before you cross it. So to say ego isn't there, or even say negativity isn't there,
Mhm.
is actually lying to yourself too, because it exists, but wouldn't you say it depends on what you actually focus on that makes your life go in a certain direction?
Absolutely. I mean, when we were kids, we used to, there was a path on the road where there was like these pavement kind of slabs, very thin ones, and we used to walk across those just to see if we can like make it from one side to another. By just walking at that thin kind of ledge is something that we used to play with as kids. Um, we did that in a way where we weren't going left or we were not going right. We were trying to balance ourselves within that kind of thing. In the same way, there are good things that happen to us and bad things that happen to us. I believe that we should take neither to heart because our life is supposed to be about balance and how we can be productive. By getting across to the other side, we need to walk across that thin line in a balanced way. Was that too spiritual?
It's like learning to walk on, I don't know if you remember as a kids, at least I did. We would walk on the curb and say if you go off the curb and you touch the grass or you touch the road, you're out of the game.
Mhm.
And it seems like walking we're walking sort of like a tightrope unless we realize that either side is
Mhm.
good.
Mhm. Oh,
And
absolutely, because it's very easy for us to label someone as good or bad if we don't know fully their point of view. So, I mean, someone can say, "Oh, look what a great person that I am," or it's like my ego will go, "Wow, thank you." But at the same time, I would think of the bad things I've done or might have thought of. So I'm not good. I'm not bad. I'm just who I am. By attaching ourselves to labels, even of others about ourselves, we're doing ourselves a disservice and to other people because we then through look at life through our own eyes, but in a way kind of that kind of blocks who we are.
and you don't really want to block who you are. You want to
Yeah,
be who you are.
absolutely, absolutely. Carla, he's saying this is what he's saying. My other colleague is supposed to be on Zoom and goes, there are four people waiting. Where are you? And I'm I I, I am just going to respond. I'll come onto my Facebook wall. Hold on.
So it did get on the Facebook wall.
I think no. Hold on. I think Rehan has put this on his wall. So maybe you can share it afterwards. Gosh, gosh. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I may not have, I was having trouble tagging it for some strange reason.
Okay, he's calling me on the WhatsApp now. Could you? I should put this on loudspeaker and
Who is?
no, it's because I'm supposed to be having a Zoom conference at 11. He said then at 11:05. I said 11:10. 10 past 11. And he said it's 11:15 now, your time. And where are you? Well, Carla, we will speak hopefully again next week.
Yeah,
And
let's
it was
complete.
it was great speaking with yourself. And I do hope you advise the president as well on how to be a bit more spiritual.
I would like to. Can I just close the show before you leave?
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
just want to thank you for spending the time and also putting up with my craziness when it came to getting it started.
No,
Um,
I wouldn't be talking to you if you were not crazy. I love crazy people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone who watched because it's always nice to have people watching. And remind you that this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization promoting peace, one conversation at a time. And with that, we're going to wave goodbye because Abbasi needs to go. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Speak soon. Bye-bye now.